Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Perseverance Maremeni, also known as Madam Speaker, also known as the CEO of Self Love. If you're joining in for the first time, welcome to the family. Please hit the subscribe button, like, comment, and share. And if you're returning, thank you so much for the continuous love and support. We are on part 2 of African spirituality versus Christianity debate. Does it make us any less of Africans if we do not believe in African spirituality? Let's hear what people have to say about this topic, and do enjoy. If you've not watched part 1, please go watch part 1 for context and then continue with part 2.
The way you look, the way you talk, your DNA, your genes, your body structure, how you develop and so forth are all things that you've inherited from your ancestors.
Sure.
They are not all unique to you. And that is why when you look at a picture of a great whoever, when they look at you and they can say, yo, you resemble so and so. Even your traits, even your behavior, even how you do things. So from that perspective, we can cleanse.
Okay.
Listen,
I think from my side, I'm going to be very honest. This whole spiritual cleansing thing of a spirit, I've never heard of it. It's new to me. Right?
Same here.
But with breaking generational curses, I know it. But I know again that you have to find out what happened. You have to know how a certain ancestor lived so that you should break yourself from whatever curse that they did. For example, spiritual altars that were erected in 50 years back before you were born.
Sometimes even prophecy in our churches, my brother. Prophecy, that's where prophecy also applies.
They can still be active now. So you need to find out what type of a spirit was evoked there, what deal did they have with that spirit, so that you can break it. But because by the virtue of you having the same blood as that individual, it passes down to you. So you need to find out, how can I break? But as for cleansing the spirit, I have never heard of it. I'll just have to go and research more about it.
It's a matter of understanding.
That's what I'm saying. I'll have to.
It's a matter of understanding on how you define certain things. You will speak of breaking a generational curse, breaking free from a curse.
Just by saying the words. I agree how you do it when it's just by you praying in the name of Jesus, and that is done.
Correct. And from our perspective, it's a matter of me saying that I am cleansing, but equally so, the end result is the same. You are breaking the curse, I'm equally breaking the curse. It's just that how I go about it will differ, and how I interpret it or translate it will differ from the way that you do.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, that I've never, this is the first time I hear about it, right? This is what I'm saying, that I'll have to go do my own research and try to get a more depth understanding of this whole thing. You understand?
I'm very much interested in what Brian and Govela have to say, because they've been holding back.
Yes, can I just come in, guys?
Sure.
The reason why we went back to DeFi with everyone here is that one thing that we need to understand is that the religion is taught. There's a Bible where you can go and have a reference. But African spirituality, you don't have where you can go because of it's something that you are born with.
Yeah.
So we'll always bump heads in terms of people who are taught. Remember now, religion is taught. It's something that we were taught how to pray, who's God, who's Abraham, what happened. You understand? But when we come to the African spirituality, it's something that you are born with. And then for you now to explain what you see, things that you're going through, for somebody who wants faith, it's not going to be easy for that person to listen to you. So, and the other thing that I always ask is that, why are we paying Ilobolo?
Yo, that one, I think you came late.
When we're paying Ilobolo to a certain lady, if you don't believe in ancestors, what are you trading for? That animal that you guys see in Iklabayo, what does it represent? Because of in an African spirituality, we are putting the two families together. But then if you are a Christian, there's no way you can tradition. Because of now, who are you trading? Who are you trading? Because of now, the reason why we're sharing that blood, we are combining the two families together. We put the but then now, for me, it's a problem where we choose which side of African spiritual one I use when it benefits us But then we go and says, no, out of these 10 things, I mean, I can only take 2. But the rest of the 8, I'm not going to entertain.
But do you understand? When I said there's a difference between the two? Now,
I think he was not here yet, my brother. But I don't mind you having to repeat everything all over again.
Yeah. When using Gobel, is it Gobela?
Yes.
I said there's a difference for me. I feel like there's a thin line between African spirituality and culture. Culture is exactly what you say. You're paying lobor. That's culture. Now, spirituality comes in when you have to say, we are Sabis. So, I can pay lobor.
Now I finally understand.
Okay.
Now I understand.
So what Gobel is basically saying is, I'm paying ilobolo, which is honoring the culture and following the culture. That for me, as Witima, I don't mind doing. But Ukushabisa, which is the spiritual part of it, I mind doing it because I don't believe in it.
Okay.
You understand? So I don't mind. Listen, let me finish first. I don't mind paying the lobola, following the culture, umalume, doing whatever they have to do. You know, most I think yes, there are certain parts in an animal's body that they take, they cook it, they give it to you, you eat it. That's culture, that's fine. But or to combine amadlozi, for me, I believe that your ancestors will never be my ancestors, and my ancestors will never be your ancestors. That's my belief. Sure.
Okay.
We're going to try and break it down like this. My understanding, and I think other people might also share my sentiments, is that there is no difference between culture and spirituality.
Okay.
What we refer and have termed spirituality is actually something that comes through from a way of life or a system of life, or the Bantu system of life that we would refer to as Botu or Ubuntu.
Okay.
Which in its fullness, practiced in its fullness, then encompasses all of spirituality. That was our way of life, Utubarona, which we also termed to be a culture or a tradition. You know? So when it comes to our way of marriage, it falls in under the ambit or the scope of Botu or Ubuntu or Isintu. It falls in under the ambit of our culture. It also falls in under the ambit of spirituality. So you can either practice it in full or choose to not practice it in full for whatever reason. But however, if you are going to practice it in full, you are going to pay lobola and there will be slaughtering. When the slaughtering happens physically, there is also a process that might not be clarified that happens automatically in the spirit world, whereby there is a certain ancestors come together or they merge because of what has taken place, which is now the completion of Ilobola and now what Habiswa. Now we are slaughtering and we are spilling blood. In that process, we inform, or the ancestors get informed of that. We have now concluded the proceedings of Lobola here in the female house. And now they are Habisa, meaning that now your daughter is leaving and is going to join now the family of the husband. And automatically by us doing that, there are certain spiritual processes that are like activated, even though they have not been explained, which is what Gobela was speaking about, whereby certain ancestors, they now come together, because when that daughter leaves to go to the husband's house, she doesn't leave alone. There are some ancestors that live together with her.
Okay.
To go enter into the husband's household.
I want my sisters back. All of them must come back then.
Hello.
There's a way. There is a way that, remember, people don't know that even after divorce, you go and slaughter again so that you can bring back your ancestors back. There are so many things that are hidden that the people, they always think that all these things are devilish or are demonic. But to tell you the truth, if people mabashangana, we are combining, even after no mashonile, even after ushonelwe, uyageziswa, uyaklinziwa, So now, there's no difference between a cleansing and breaking the spiritual curse. It's a fancy way in terms of English. You know, English, you can put it in this way or you put it in another way just to try to confuse. But with a simple English, cleansing is to say, we are in terms of it's the same as breaking the general cases because of Lomkulo Pete, when we are cleansing you, it's the same thing.
You know, my brother, the one thing that we cannot run away as Africans is the fact that there is witchcraft, and then people who came with the Bible that we believe in so much, I believe in Christ, don't suffer, praying against this witchcraft as much as we do. I'm from the village, okay, and I know that there will be witch you broad daylight, and because now we are in between two worlds, and it goes back to the topic that I initially, the topic at hand, to say, as an African celebrating Africa Day, how do you then have to, as a Christian, be able to be part of these things and not be part of that? And how do you maneuver your way through this whole thing of being an African and believing in something that is not originally from Africa?
Can I ask Govela one thing? Please?
Yes.
She said something that I would like to ask. Govela, why is it that you spoke about when someone passes on, or if someone from your family passes on, you must be cleansed. Cleansed from what? Because I believe if my father was a pastor, let's say my father was a pastor, and then my father happens to pass on, then they say, "Guti, we must cleanse you from E."
You know what? When so we remove all of that kind of, because you're asking the question that I was about to ask. I want to ask it. Wrong.
No, okay.
Playing for the wrong team, man.
Linsta, one thing about Huitziman is Axulo Muntu just want to say yes, in understand. He wants you to go deeper so that he can have an understanding of which is good. And then he's asking questions that are very relevant. So that remember, we are teaching each other.
Yes.
So it doesn't mean what I'm saying, you must take it. If you don't feel good, I don't have faith enough, you can't take it. But what I'm saying, if you show me a kaya, siyageziswa ngaleshwa ngalokho ubumnyama obusivelele siyagezwa siyahlambululwa thina laba esishonelwe.
In other churches, I wanted to go back to the issue where somebody was saying, in Christianity, this is how we do things, and then about people who believe in African spirituality do these things. In churches as well, there are churches where when somebody has died, and they put salt and they put this and that. There are churches who believe in anointing oil, and speakers. There are churches who just say, yes, Lord, yes, Lord, yes, Lord, and they don't believe in all the other tangible stuff.
Okay, so did I answer your question, Kutzman?
No, you haven't, my good sir. My question is, why?
Okay.
Why? What is it that you are cleansing me from?
Okay, let me put it like this. And then I'm going to put it in a way so that siyageziswa ekhaya kushoniwa ngisho. Kube no sometimes it will depend on ukuthi umuntu ushone kanjani. But then in most cases ukuthi sigezwe ukuthi lo umnyama okuvelele ekhaya siyagezwa ngoba sivelelwe. Some of their family members were basemamboshareni, they had to go emathuneni. That's why even after you come from the cemetery, you don't just come in pelengini wangena dala besisaka umlotha siyenza ezinkaleni zabantwana. It is because of we are saying asifuna ukufa kungene ejaradini.
You don't want repeated deaths.
Ngoba kunemimoya sigezisona emimoyeni emathuneni because of there's so many people that are doing all these voodoo things. We are cleansing ourselves in terms of this darkness. It shouldn't affect us. It shouldn't be with us. So what we're doing, we are saying, sishonelwe siyahlambululwa ukuthi lokumnyama bungasali emuva. Because of emathuneni, there's people that are doing. Okay, I don't know if I've answered.
This brings us to this question. Wait, Andy. Please. So this brings us to what he said earlier. Why? And I think Khadi said something which I don't know what am I speaking about on the comment section. Now, this brings us, Govela, to what we spoke about earlier. And so, why would you go and pray at Amatune, knowing very well there are people who do evil things, Amatune? Because the source for me is very important. Where you get your blessings and all of that is very important. So why would you want to go to the very...
Can I clarify that one? Emathuneni asikothandaza. Umuntu makaqeda ukushona in African spirituality siyamlanda, siyambuyisa ekhaya.
Okay.
Emathuneni umuntu, we just going there to go and clean. You don't go emathuneni to go and pray. Siphahla emsamo ekhaya. Umuntu makaqeda ukushona, we go siyomlanda la shonele khona, we go and fetch the spirit simbuyisa ekhaya.
Okay.
Emsamo. Emathuneni kunemimoya elahlekile.
Okay.
You don't go and uyethuneni uyokhuluma nethuna. Umuntu uyalandwa, uyabuyiswa ekhaya. That's why if you can go back to emakhaya, we have those people abanamathuna emajaradeni. We used to put isingcwabela emakhaya. We didn't have a cemetery. So all those people bakhona balana, but we have the place that we call it emsamo, where you go and speak to your ancestors.
Okay.
If I want to speak to my gogo, I want to speak to my grandfather, I don't go emathuneni.
I think it goes back to that thing, people, even in African spirituality, the way people practice are different. Same way as the way I was saying, even in Christianity, the way that we practice is different.
Even in Christianity, I think this is all over. In Christianity, you have many different denominations. Some have taken this practice to that extent. Some only leave it here and so forth. And also within the African spirituality, you get other people that tend to do certain things that other people do not do. But at the end, we're all aiming to go back and practice isintu sethu ubuntu bethu ubuntu barona in its fullness.
Brian,
that is the aim at the end of the day, so that we can try and practice it in its fullness. And yes, you might find that you still have other people that go to the grave in terms of speaking to their ancestors and whatnot. Yes, but we are hoping that in time they would also realize that the people that they've put there or that have been put there are no longer there. Only their bodies are there, but spiritually they are not there. And you don't need to go to the graves.
You're not going to win with that one, my brother, because even us as Christians, there are things that other Christians do that we don't believe in, but we know they're not coming back.
Yes. But whenever we speak about the African, Habiba, whenever we speak about the African spirituality or Tubarona, we try and explain it in its fullness. We don't focus mainly on certain things that people tend to do and whatnot, but we just try and put it in its fullness and how things should be.
Okay.
Can I just comment on the comment?
Sorry, I'm going to drop down, host. There's a lady that I'd like you to put in my place. The view.
Okay.
She is very informed in terms of African spirituality. And I think we will learn a lot from her. So
okay, Lwandle, can you just request? I'll put her in on your place.
So, my question is, okay, let's say the person who died was a murderer, right, and a rapist, right? This person dies. Do you guys also fetch the spirit from the grave sites to bring it into the family? What?
There's a saying that people normally say in Islam, but you don't choose family, but you can choose friends.
Sure.
So what we are saying, uma alandwa siyakulanda siyakuvusa sikulanda sikubuyisa ekhaya sikhuluma nawe ukuthi wena mketekete kwigama lakho wena gobela siyakubuyisa ekhaya sicela lezi ndlela zakho sishweleza. That's why I'm saying we go emsamo soshweleza sokucelela ukuthi nalezi ndlela zakho lizokuziyenza indlela lezo ozambile emhlabeni uhambe uhlukumeza abantu wayenza lokhu nalokhu. We go emsamo sokushwelezela nalabo wabamoshela nemindeni leyo wabulala kuyo siyabuya sithi kugogo khona bomkhulu siyanicela ukuthi ngendlela ugobela wayeziphathe ngabo simcela ugobela zoba yidlozi elinje kube yidlozi elukwazi ukuthi lihambe likwazi ukuthi siyaqolisela samqelela lo muntu lo ngoba sikhatha phila emhlabeni. When we spoke to you, you didn't want to listen because of knowledge. You did all these funny things, but now you are no more. So now we are saying to the ancestors, to the Great Spirit, to say, can this person siyamhlambulula re kopela gore he re motsosa ha tlo bua e be le meloi le le pila mo lefatsheng.
So I have a question. I have this thing.
So
I will give Usive a chance to speak. You know why I get lost in between, Okay, Mina, like I said, I'm a Muslim, right? So I follow ways of the Islam, right? When Islam it teaches us that, okay, one, every soul shall taste death, which means every soul shall pass away, right? So when you are living in this world, you have to do good, and yet if you do bad, that is also your decision, right?
Okay.
Therefore, you shall be punished based on those things. Ne? So it goes on to say, Oma ushonile, wonile, and you didn't ask for forgiveness from God. Therefore, your sins will be brought up to you on Judgment Day to say, okay, remember on this day you did 1, 2, 3. Remember on this day you did 1, 2, 3. It teaches us that your family will not have power, ne, to ask for your forgiveness, because umuntu okumele axolise is the one who committed the crime and the sin while asaphila kulo mhlaba. So therefore, how can you as my family to say ngiyangilanda lapho ngingumbulali mina, I killed a lot of people, you fetched me from my spiritual realm, and you apologize for me, how then do you know that my sins are forgiven? How do you then know that now I'm a good spirit? Because it says that on this day, one and each and every soul will be responsible for izinto ezenzayo as we were living on this earth.
Okay, so I like to thank the fact that you said they teaches us. Like I said, religion is something Lena Basfundisa yo. So the reason why there's always gonna be we're always gonna bump heads between the African spirituality and the religion is that, like I said, African spirituality is not something that ufundiswa kona. There's a book that you're gonna read, you'll have references. So that's why I said spirituality is something that you are born with. I didn't go your class, I didn't go away. For me to prophesy, for me for me to I didn't go anywhere. It's something that I was born with. I cannot explain the things that I see. But I can tell you so without me knowing you. So how do I explain that to a 5-year-old? I can see when I'm all cool, you're gonna be this. You understand? I don't have anywhere where we can go it's because of this and that and that. But in terms of the religion, it's something that we are for. It's like somebody wrote a book, and then you like that book, so you're gonna memorize that book and you're gonna live by that book.
No, I get you. I mean, I understand you, my brother.
When we answer, let's not involve the books. Let's not involve.
Yeah, I think Gobela is involving the book in a sense, Yaori, because we are using our Bibles as reference and all the books that we are reading, because our religion, we are privileged that our religions have got books to reference to. So in their religion, because they don't have books to reference to, I think that he's saying it in that angle.
Oh, okay.
Can I come in?
Oh, Jehovah Jireh. Who must come in now?
I have a question too. How do we then say that as Africans we don't have references to certain things? And whose fault is that we don't have references of how our ancestors used to do things back in the day? You know why I'm asking this? Because they have the tendency, especially in our African culture, or I would say African culture, when you ask a question, okay, but when your child is 3 months, you have to cut the hair, or when they're 6 months, you have to cut the baby's hair, right? When you ask, okay, no problem. But why am I cutting my baby's hair at 6 months? They say, don't ask questions, just do. So how are we gonna learn as a generation that is new to say, okay, this is the reason behind why my ancestors did 1, 2, 3. Therefore, I will teach my children, the next generation again, how to conduct and do certain things. The reason I feel we don't have references is not because we didn't know how to read and write. Fine, it was that part. In fact, we had our own way of writing. So it wasn't the English form or whatever, but we had a way of writing things down.
That one I will defend. Yes, I will defend African spiritualists on that one when I Habiba, my sister, because even us in Christianity, I know when you're not a Christian, but we are relating, me and you. Even in Christianity, there are things which we are told to do in the Bible, and there's no why. Our whys are never answered in full. Even your whys are never answered in full.
I'm sorry, in mine, when you ask a question, you are answered.
Really?
They give you a reference.
Bye.
No, but even in African culture, Habiba, there's always reasons to why certain things are done. So I think for me, my first comment, hi guys, sorry, I jumped on. I've been wanting to comment. Firstly, I don't know whether it's a disclaimer or it
Please put a disclaimer, my sister. I don't want to get into trouble.
Disclaimer in the house.
I was born and raised in a Christian home, and I grew up and I took on Christianity. However, growing up, I have then come to a point of having questions. So firstly, I think for me as a Christian, it is very liberating to get to this place that we are now, where we can even question certain things, because I don't want to lie. Being a Christian and questioning certain things was a very scary thing to do in the beginning. But I think for me, it is very empowering that we are now reaching a point where we can freely, talk about these things. So I think, Obela, there's something that he mentioned with regards to, and also you, Habib, with regards to the documenting of some of these things. And I think one of the advantages of Christianity is that obviously there is this Bible, and that is a clear reference. Okay, it has been very manipulated by people, because you must remember that anything that has to do with humans or human beings has the potential of being manipulated in any way, regardless of it being documented and whatnot. Now you come to the African side, which I am not very clued up about, but I have come to really want and be interested in, because obviously I am an African. Now, one of the downsides, which I always also feel, is that obviously these things are not documented. However, they being not documented, I believe that there are people who have lived, or rather not lived, but people who, elders, who are always able to provide. For instance, with us, you have indoor where boys go up to the bush and whatnot, and they do certain things. There are always people who are able to give us a reference as to why certain things are done. But now, which is maybe what Uhoitze also said, but there's such a thin line between the spirituality and culture. Then you come to spirituality, where you have to shabela and do all of these things and whatnot, and this is where I then become so confused with regards to the ancestors, to say, and with all due respect, an ancestor dies and unfortunately they die poor. I'm just making an example. They die very poor and whatnot. And now, all of a sudden, the ancestor has passed on, and people are dreaming and saying this person is wanting us to slaughter cows and slaughter whose cows? You didn't have cows. You didn't leave cows. So what is this now? And I think this is where now, and also, so that's the one point. And the second point is I always struggle acting in, when in our culture we have, or rather, okay, not only us, but in Akwabani, where you have to go and twasa and all of these things. And then sometimes before you get and accept your calling, all of these bad things happen to you. And I'm asking myself, why are these undergrounds imposing themselves in such a negative way? Why is it that for spirituality you must feel hardship, you must be exposed to so much of izinto that are not nice and not good for you, only for you to accept,
I think that one is very similar to the story of Job, when I see that, my love.
Can we may we please have Dr. Mahlangu and then Ulwandle, please? They've been waiting.
Okay.
Yo, I've been waiting longer than them.
Who's been? When I've been saying Brian speak, I often call him Brian. Brian, you don't want to talk.
Every time I try to speak, like, yo.
My brother, yeah, I can tell even with your accent why you're Model C. Model C doesn't work here, my brother. Just interject. Come in. Just go in, my brother.
Let me say this now before other people speak.
I wanna you've been, my sister.
This life is very unique. This life is very unique. We have Christians, we have spiritualists, we have African cultural practicing people, we have Muslims, we have atheists. That's how powerful this life is.
Sure.
But Dr. Mahlangu, I'm interested in Dr.
No, it's fine. Let's give Brian a chance to speak and then Dr. Mahlangu will go, then Lwandle.
In fact, let me address you because I've been wanting to. First off, you mentioned something that really confused me. You said that you don't understand how one can be in the spirit form or enter the spirit and cleanse the spirit. Practically, you've never read or heard of how something in the spirit form can be cleansed or the spirit can be cleansed, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, which is a little ironic because you believe in cleansing from generational curses, and cleansing from generational curses is cleansing in spirit form. It's not like you go to some physical material that you go and cleanse. It's something that you deal with supernaturally, which is in spirit form. So you already answered there. It's just that I don't know why you couldn't see that, but okay. You also mentioned on how there's a difference between culture and tradition. And this is why you are able to practice lobola but separated from African spirituality. That is also incorrect because within practicing lobola, you're picking and choosing what to practice. Number one is the money. You guys want the money, therefore you will disregard everything that is
The bag. We want the bag.
Yes. Yeah, because if you really look at the culture, it has to do with a whole lot of things. For one, you guys already disregarding virginity testing, you're disregarding the slaughtering of the meat and the blood flowing to the ground and all the ritual practices. You're disregarding a whole lot of things, and the only thing that you mention as culture is receiving the money. Even if it may happen that because back then part of the traditional practice was if your spouse was to pass away, for instance your wife, and there's a brother within that family, she now belongs to that brother. She does not go anywhere. There is no divorce. But you guys do practice divorce. If we look at the statistics, maybe it's because South Africa has so many Christians, but Christians are the number one leading religious group when it comes to divorce.
Guilty.
So that.
Move a chance, my brother. Move a chance. Like, give him a chance.
Yeah, so that on its own already shows how picking and choosing within our culture is already faulty. It has to do with spiritual African spirituality.
Okay.
So I am agreeing with my African spiritualists.
Marwana, you are an atheist.
Can I say something?
Yes, I am. I'm the voice of reason.
Okay.
When it comes to lobola, it's not just about money. Lobola is not about money only when it comes to African culture. There's a whole lot of things involved. Just that maybe we have magnified money a lot, but it's not. There's a lot that goes in.
Okay, so it's not biblical, ne? It's only about the culture. It's cultural. In this regard, we are putting our religion aside.
Dr. Mahlangu.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Hey, good afternoon, family.
Afternoon, Doc.
Hey, you've been talking, guys.
Yo.
You've been talking a lot.
Especially Khunzi and Habiba.
Yeah, but now I just want to start from a point of saying that obviously my view and my understanding in regard to African spirituality is a view of that it's a new religion. And me saying that it's a new religion, it's because what they practice or what they claim to do is nothing other than the things that have been practiced by people in various parts of the world, you know, in terms of what they disclaim, although they say African spirituality. But if you look at the practices of the spirituality part, it's practice universal.
Okay.
So now claiming it to be African, it makes it to be a new thing. But it has been practiced by, nations. You go to America, England, you would find the very things that they want to claim as theirs. They do practice English people, including witchcraft. That is why they put it in a modern way. The Harry Potters, they fly with brooms. Those things have been practiced in all nations in the world.
Okay.
But then, however, that brings us to a point of saying that then if it is something that is common, universal, then why then most of the time I've learned that one of the things that will be challenged is the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why the Bible is challenged is because there's a narrative that makes the Bible to be Western. And yet, when you read the context of the Bible, it's purely African.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, sir. So now, you would look at, there's what we call imikuba and culture.
Mm-hmm.
There's a difference between imikuba and culture. Culture is the way of life. But imikuba, it's the bad practices that are installed in the culture. So now, this is where now you find people bring, that is why they don't have what we call a logbook for bad habits. They could not record witchcraft and the things that they are doing spiritually that are in contrary with what is expected to be done by all people who are alive. Then coming to why would they fight the Bible in particular? They fight it because they were taught and told that it is coming from the West. But let's read the context of it. Can we find anything Western between Jacob and Esau? Because the Bible tells us they were hunters. And their father, their way of life. Can we find anything Western from Abraham? And yet we have records of Egypt. So most of the things that people argue on are not factually, and you cannot trace them from anything. But at least the Bible gives you context of that these people lived in Africa. And these people were practicing the very same lobolo you are talking about. It was practiced by Abraham. The very same. So that is way longer before this new religion of African spirituality came in. So now all these things are there, they've been practiced. Slaughtering was there before even, the Bible records it. The first slaughter was done by God himself. When Adam and Eve, when they have seen God slaughter, not to cleanse them by the means of slaughtering,
but because they saw themselves naked, and they said, we were naked and we were afraid, and God gave them a covering from the skins of the animal. So the slaughter was not to say to them, they have been cleansed by the blood of the animal. But we see that culture continually, whereby people, God will say to them, they must slaughter if they've done something wrong. So in other words, when they've seen, the slaughter will come in, but that slaughtering will not cleanse them, will be a covering. It will be something that will atone what they've done, but it will not remove the sin. So now coming to, yes.
So, sorry, Doc, sorry for, but I really, I'm without minimizing this whole conversation to the Bible, but how do we say that the Bible is African? I'm trying to hear you, but it's something that has come up a long time.
Yeah.
You know, it's something that has come up a long time.
I will. Every time you read a book, one of the things that you must do when reading a book is to understand to who was it written and when and what was the way of life there. So that I'm trying to give you a narrative of that. In Africa, we have a certain cult that we believe in. For instance, in Africa, you would see most of African cultures, they have what we call polygamous families. In the Bible, you find the origins of that in the life of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. So now, when you take, that is how I'm just giving you an idea of when you are reading any book, you have to.
I'm so sorry, Doc. With all due respect, before I lose my train of thought, I've already lost my train of thought with so many other things.
Your volume is a little bit low, Lwande.
Sorry.
Can you increase your volume?
Okay, I'm wearing AirPods.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, proper.
Okay, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, Doc, to interject. I'm going to lose my train of thought, as I have with many other things that have.
You should have just jumped in.
I need to.
Yes.
Yeah, I need to really. Let's put a T-junction right here so that we can meet at the same spot.
Okay.
I want to say to you first and foremost. African people existed before Ibhayibheli. If you go scientific, bazokutshela ama-scientists ukuthi mankind existed in Africa. Udalo. If you go further into science, scientists will tell you it is actually African people who created every other race that exists. You are a doctor. I believe you've seen some of those studies. Correct?
But in so saying, how does it... No, I gave you an...
First off, what kind of doctor? Maybe he's a different type of doctor. I don't know.
Okay, sorry. Let me continue then.
Yeah, I think it's best you just continue, Lwande.
I'm a theologian.
Yeah.
Number one, even better. Let's continue. So, if we go scientific, read books, guys. Heaven's Princess, read books. If we go scientific, because you want us to go name right and be scientific with things. So,
Not a
if
problem.
if scientists come up and give us those conclusions, everything began in Africa, right? And through Africans. Then uyazizwa ukuthi yithi abantu, so not awuzizwa wena ukuthi then that means black people thina ama-Africans yithi abantu bokuqala esafika even before ufike nalelo bhayibheli lelo. So how do we
Wait.
So how do we copy something that has been
There's no dispute in originality of mankind.
Doctor, allow me, let me just say something here. You are in a way, you are agreeing with what the doctor is saying.
Yes.
No. I understand.
No, you're not hearing my point.
You know what Lwandle is saying?
Let's give Lwandle a chance to talk.
Listen to what I'm saying. I am saying, if science is saying thina abantu base Africa sifike kuqala and mankind.
Which signs? Okay, first we must ask which signs are we talking about? Because the signs we have and documents, some of them that we have, cannot be proven.
No, it's historians, archaeologists.
Exactly.
And even archaeologists, like for instance, if we take the fossils of dinosaurs, where such creatures existed in the universe. So we dismiss that. Let's continue.
Scientists are also the same people that
May I respond to the doctor?
No,
scientists are the same people that said,
wait, it's fine. Let's continue. Let's continue.
That humans existed within, and they had gods. This is what scientists are saying, and they had gods. Therefore, they had time frame on when to reproduce and when not to reproduce. Read it. Scientists also said that.
Hey guys, had we known we will need references here, I think I should have said let's be prepared for this live and then come with all your references, because now we have a problem.
And I'm in such a rush because I've got a patient coming through. So let me continue.
Yeah.
Let me continue. IBhayibheli azange labhalwa uNkulunkulu yena uqobo lwakhe. IBhayibheli sizwa bathi iBhayibheli lelo usizwa bathi.
Okay.
And other people's accounts of what they experienced. No God. God. Because manje ngikhuluma ngoNkulunkulu ngithetha ngosonini, sengikhuluma ngowami lo engikhonzayo, lo we-African spirituality.
Okay.
So ngitshela ngoGod lo wamaJuda.
Alala.
Ngitshela ngoGod wamaJuda, ngisazongitshela ngoGod lo owami, lo ukuthi ngiphaphathe izandla ngikuqe ngamadolo. Ngizokutshela ngaloyo ukuthi why ngikholwa kuyena.
Okay.
Right. Other people's accounts. Right? Besitshela ukuthi bona bazwe ivoice ithi. Bona bakhumbula ukuthi if you dissect the Bible, I think it was Usive when you were saying there were so many questions you could not ask in Christianity. It is true. Mina ndikhulele Sabbath, Seventh-day Adventist. I used to sit in Bible class.
I will allow you to continue, but I just want to ask you a question.
You will make me lose my train of thought.
No. We are talking. If it's a chain, you can break your chain. But Lwandle, first thing I want to ask you is.
When we always dismiss Lwandle.
No, I'm not.
No, it's unfair. But if she says she's gonna lose, and then you're saying no, she must clap.
Now is talking, and we are recorded in what Lwandle is saying. Okay. Somebody listen to the message Lwandle is saying today. Will it be factual when he listened to the recordings, or will be a myth what Lwandle was saying? I'm asking the records. Okay. The records of what we are saying now. Somebody's writing it down. In let me talk. So I'm saying somebody who will be told about this conversation today, must that person dismiss that it never existed?
You're talking about a different time zone. You're talking about two different eras.
I'm saying to you, It has been, the fact it's recorded, then we have to accept the records.
It is not recorded by someone else. It is someone who's going to be hearing Luande's voice directly. Nobody has ever heard.
But it's a record, whether by means of writing or by means...
video.
No, by means of writing or by means of
I'm going to mute for a second, sorry.
But it's records.
May I mention something? A point that I...
Yes.
May I mention a point I think Lwandle wanted to mention, but she
Okay.
lost her train of thought.
Okay.
What Lwandle was, or at least from my understanding, what I picked up is she was trying to say that if Africans were the first humans on Earth, how is it possible that a different nation had the first religion, first language? Wasn't it supposed to all start in Africa? And you saying that these practices were from different nations and different peoples, whereas Africans were the first people on Earth. How is it possible for them to not be the first to do all these things that you are saying that other people were doing? It does make it make sense.
Right. Christianity started in Africa. So if you say
It didn't start in Africa.
it did, it started in Ethiopia, please read it up. Please do your research.
No.
Also, your scientists are approving that.
Where Christianity started.
Guys, first off, you guys maybe do not have the definition of Christianity has to do with Jesus. When we talk about the Old Testament, we talk about the Torah. Wait, let me finish. We talk about the Torah, and this has to do with Jews, of which is associated with Israel, Israelites. This is what the Bible says itself.
And all these
So
are black
wait, doctor, let me finish, because I don't remember you. I don't remember you getting any interruptions, doctor. So I think you need to hold on.
Finish, my brother.
Like I was saying, first off, Christianity has nothing to do with Christianity has everything to do with Jesus. So we look at the New Testament whenever we refer to Christianity. This is why we have within the people who believe in the Bible different religions within the Bible. We have the Torah, people who only practice the Old Testament. They have nothing and want nothing to do with the New Testament. Jesus,
Which is the gospel.
I'll ask you a question.
and that is the Torah. Wait. I want to talk about the origins. And then within the Torah, it has to do with the Jews, the Israelites, and the location Israel. That's even mentioned within the Bible. That is God's chosen nation. That is God's people. That is God's religion. Even if you read on Revelation on the 144,000 people, God is going to take the Israelites because those are his chosen people.
The rest of us are doomed.
They maybe can have different discussions on that, maybe for a different...
Okay, it's for another day, but I just wanted to ask you a question. Was Jesus white or black?
Jesus was Middle Eastern, which would be...
Don't answer it. He should answer.
Please, don't answer the question for us.
Because the narrative that you are bringing is as if that Christianity is not African. And where I beg to differ to say that it's not even Western, it's African. Abraham lived in Africa. Moses was an African. Jesus was an African.
And I can prove that.
So we shouldn't be coming and claiming as if that is why I said earlier on, the narrative that is brought about the Bible is that it's a Western religion. And of which the reality, when you study the Bible, you discover that it's purely African.
What you just said.
If you had not,
He didn't even listen to me. Where was Jesus
I would
born?
have proved you. If you had not cut me, then you would have heard me say, "Iqale Africa," meaning now Christianity is African. Mara ngithi uyakhathana.
Khuluma sithandwa sami, khuluma uqede.
Who's a phony?
Hey.
Proof. What
My brother, I trust you on that one.
Please,
Please prove.
Jesus is Christianity is from Africa.
Can I prove it?
Hey.
Okay.
And can I prove that Jesus was also black?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Tango.
Guys, do you guys know where Bethlehem?
That's why I said, guys, when it comes to religion,
The revelation of Jesus Christ.
Guys, first let's start here. Where was Jesus?
It will give you the
In
Africa.
Africa.
What I'm saying. What I'm saying.
Yo,
Jesus was born
there's a tense life in Gosiam.
Africa. This is where everything started. And every other race comes from Africa. So what does that mean? Everything starts where?
In Africa.
Luanje, are you back?
If you want to know,
Where was Jesus born? Where was
In
Jesus born?
Africa.
Where in Africa?
Let me drop one bomb and then I keep quiet.
Drop a bomb, my doctor.
please, doctor, please stop.
One, the maps that we have are not the original maps
Okay.
of the true historical maps. So now, the manipulation of the continents and the falsifying of map may distort what the Bible reflects as a truth. And as a result of that, therefore, we tend to believe that Jesus was from another continent. And yet he was not in another continent. He was in Africa. The Israelites were in Africa.
Okay.
So if you look for true maps with true names, not the manipulated one, then you will find the truth.
Okay, so now let's go back to the original topic, ne? With the Bible originating from Africa and Christianity originating from Africa and the African spirituality that we are practicing today. How do the two become Luanje? I need you on this one.
Yes.
I'm going to answer you just now.
Okay.
Hear your question and shake on upon. What did I say initially before you cut me off? I said everything began in Africa.
Yes.
I even said scientifically everything began in Africa.
And then we said science we are putting aside.
Yes, and you are coming up again on top, and you are now supporting my initial statement and saying Iqale Africa.
No, that was my initial message, not yours.
Oh. Yes, I'm going to leave these two in this live. I'm going to leave the two of you in this live. What are we arguing right now?
Those issues where was the born?
Mara ai kaloku. Uthini ke? Hey.
Asinankinga yokuthi umama kaJesu wabambisa ihandsball thina nakadlozi
Hayi kaloku.
asinazo lenkinga lezo zenu.
Okay, can we let Luanje speak? Can I ask the gentleman to give Luanje a chance to speak and finish without losing any trail of thoughts?
Host, thank you so much, host. I told you guys that I was speaking first. I've got somebody here. I need to quickly do something. Can I mute? And I'll write down my notes and come back. I'm so sorry.
Hopefully you will find us because by 3 o'clock I have to be gone. Otherwise I'll leave you guys here on this live.
I'll be quick. I'll take notes. I'm just muting, but I'm listening.
Okay.
You see, my biggest problem is what those amadlozi anokulahleka kumele ayolanda alande umhlahla namthuthwa elalanda atshele ukuthi awayazi I want to GPS.
Nina, while you are busy sorting in the Jesus, Tina, it was in London. If you listen to Petersburg, near Petersburg in your land, why do they ask you to Jesus or the Lord become Yama? As he gets Eating cars talk. I think there's a misunderstanding. And then there's a person oboniswan. So there's a different, even area somebody at we are showing next. We are selling
I talk.
So now,
yes. Can I answer that one?
Yes.
Like I said, guys, doesn't mean
Dog, give Kobela a chance, dog. Yes, see? Give Kobela a chance, guys. Give Kobela a chance to finish what he was saying so that you can see where you can go next.
But if we are traveling home, I wish each and every person who shown I also we are taking home. So people are misinterpreted this thing. I don't want to show na umana rucho. Wabuya wena wathi mina ngifuna inkomo. If Tina laba bakadlozi, idlozi lizobuya. If umkhulu beka umuntu bekasebenza abantu kuyinyanga emandulo bebathi mabalapha abantu bebangathathi imali bekakulapha uthi ukulapha wena uthi mawuletha inkomo athi beka le inkomo esipayeni sakho izathi mina la lenge nesipaya ngizabuya ngizoyilanda manje kwenze ukuthi umkhulu ashone akushona akalandelisa inkomo lo mkhulu makasangene la kimi usho kimi athi kimi gobela ngineyinkomo ezasala ebantwini ngicela uzonghlabele zizokwazi ukuthi lo yomnotho ukwazi ukubuya kuze ngapha ekhaya that doesn't mean ukuthi umuntu oshonayo uyosona athi ngihlabele inkomo no
okay
so akusho ukuthi another thing uma ngizokunya bathi idlozi liyahlukumeza umuntu
yes
understand ukuthi uma unesiphiwo gift, and then when you don't want to get your gift seriously, you are in denial.
Same as Jonah, when Jonah did not want to go to Nineveh, he was swallowed by a fish because he didn't want to deliver the message.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is, ngiphila lento le eyathi mayizunguluka like imiyathi ngiphilo lokho ngiyaphila.
Okay.
I was given a bait and then now I'm still running with it. Kuyofika isikhathi sokuthi nami nginike omunye aqhubeke naye. But if I was in denial of lento enganikwa yona bengizohlukumezeka ngibona ngathi idlozi liyashupha. Wadlozi kadlozi kufuneka ukuthi uwamukele lento ophiwa yona ungayithatha uyenze isibungu. Once you are when a wife we modernizer, that's where we are losing who we are.
So, Mr. Dr. Mahlangu, I have a question now, ne?
Yes.
Regarding everything that we are sharing. I guess now we are busy bumping heads and we are doing this and that, ne? I want to understand, Ori, as Africans right now, we are celebrating Africa Day. Are we celebrating Africa Day half now, or are we celebrating it in full, wholesomely, because we understand that as Africans, we understand our religion or our origin? Or what does it mean for us as Africans to celebrate Africa Day today? What does it mean? What are we acknowledging as Africans?
Okay. Me personally, as an African, what I celebrate by being an African, I'm in a land that is full of prosperity, in the land that is full of blessing. In the land where God is. I'm celebrating African Day in a way that my pigment talks to nature. It synchronizes very well. There's no deficiency. There are no cancers, no what kind of... I'm living in the land that is called Canaan land, the promised land. and of which all other nations, your Eastern nation, your Western nation, aspire and desire to be where we are. That is why they are trying by all means to manipulate us, to rob us, of what we have. And the thing that I can say to African, we need to wake up and we need to be informed very quickly as African, and we need to take our position as African and show true leadership and stop playing games around, things that are petty, but look into what God has given us as leaders of nations. We are carrying leadership in us. We are carrying power in us. And being an African, it doesn't mean being stupid, but it means being the most blessed. Being the most blessed among many nations. What we need to do is to wake up and rise up and take possession and possess our land. Unfortunately, many African countries have been colonized and taken advantage of because of one thing, language barrier. But now we can speak language where we can understand even those who don't even desire to be part of us. We understand different languages, so it means, therefore, by understanding language as Africans, we need to know that we are in leadership. Don't allow, as an African, we must not allow other nations to come and manipulate each and every one of us against each other. But we should know that we are a big family and we are united.
Thank you so much, Doc. I'm going to go in a sequence. Everybody must just do their parting words now because I think we only have 18 minutes left. I don't know who's going to go next with their parting words. Thank you so much, Doc, for that. And I apologize to Lady LJ. I had to remove you because I wanted Linkstar to be in because Linkstar, yeah, you get what I'm saying. So, who's going next? Parting words, guys.
I think Stevie should go.
Who?
In that order.
Brian.
Sive. Yes.
Oh, okay. All right. No, I think for me, it's just an appreciation of this life,
Yeah.
And I think for me, I celebrate Uba Ndibe Africa in a very liberated way. I think the way that I thought of things 3 years back as compared to now, it's very, very different. So I think for me, I think personally, embracing that I am African, embracing that I own the space. I am not here by mistake. I am not here by coincidence, and learning to love and explore and learn more about my culture, basically. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Tando-san. Who do we have next? Our doses. We have our own doses here. Hey, Habiba.
Today, guys.
Yeah, so I really want to hear your thoughts, your parting words regarding you being an African and celebrating Africa Day.
Mina as Umswati, every day is Africa Day to me. There's nothing different. Yeah, I feel like one thing that I love about us, especially as African people, is Ubuntu that we have, and may we continue to have Ubuntu and never change from that. Even though the Western society might try to change us from who we are, initially, Abakabantaba more welcoming and more loving like African people. Guys, we are so blessed beyond measures. We are so connected to nature. Our melanin speaks volume. Like, guys, come on. We are so privileged to a point that you can go outside without applying sunscreen, guys, and come back still in one piece. We can't say the same about the other race because, wow, cancer, So we are blessed, and may we continue to be like that, and may we not as much as we have different practicing beliefs, as much as you are Christian, as much as you're an atheist, as much as I'm Muslim, as much as you are an African spiritualist, may we all be connected together, and may we respect one another in our practices and the things that we believe in. May we find confidence in knowing that we are created by God, and everything else that is surrounding us, we have one common thing, and this one common thing is God, the creator of the heavens and the earth. So may we all be disconnected. I enjoyed this live. I loved it. I loved each and every person who spoke here. We laughed. We had a blast. It was just a beautiful sight to see.
Absolutely.
That's what I have to say.
Kobela wam.
Nami ngithi ngithanda ukubonga, and then I would like to thank everyone who was in this life. As much as we may sound like we are arguing, but we are learning from each other.
Yeah.
So it also shows I'm also proud with each and every person that is in this life, whether whatever religion that you belong to, for the fact of which we are doing something about us trying to know who we are, and we are not just sitting there taking whatever that is coming our way. And then as a black person who is in this life, I've learned a lot from you guys, and then it shows which there's a direction, even though it's gonna take us 40 days, like what we want to say, 40 days. So nothing will go the very same until we are all united as Africans, and like the respect and the love.
The shade is too much. The shade is too. It's of a baobab tree.
For the fact of it means a lot to me, how we respect each other, how we don't disrespect, how we don't call names. I'm saying that let the light shine, let the rain, but one thing that I can assure you, Uguchi, at the end of the day, let us build Ama 2000. Let us build Abantwana Betu. Let's show them the right way to be like we were respected. Because of my issue is that since 2000, if Masinahlala Songas Abeg Abantwana from the year 2000 up until today, somehow we are losing a plot because of and we cannot blame Abantwana ngoba bakhuliswa yithi. So it says a lot about us, ukuthi somehow kunalasi izindlela lezi esakhuliswa ngazo. So I'm saying, guys, let's pray, let's stick together, masiphahleni forward we go. Ngiyabonga.
Brian?
My conclusion is a little different because I'm not even sure anymore what it means to be an African. Like, is it the place you were born? Is it based on your location? Is it based on your color? Meaning, regardless of where you are in the world, just because you're a black person, are you African? Is it your practices? Meaning, for instance, practicing African cultures, African food, African spirituality, meaning that regardless of your color, as long as you practice, does that make you an African? So I'm not really sure, but hopefully the more I listen, the more it'll make sense to me. But I'm not really sure what it means to be an African.
Yeah, that is actually very challenging for me as well, because after this, I really need to go down there and do my own research about things that I've learned here. So I get you. I get what you mean. Linkster, my brother, I know you came in because you wanted to share something and now you have to exit. So I don't know how that's going to work.
No. I'll just exit nevertheless. But I would like another live, maybe whereby we speak of the Christianity.
Okay.
The history of Christianity, so that we can clarify some of these methods that are there. Doctor made a few remarks that we can clearly contest with from a historical perspective. Although I take nothing away from him and his profession and his PhD level, even though you made quite a
you guys, your closing remarks have a lot of shade, hey, but it's okay.
Even though you said I'm a loser, but nevertheless, in terms of my passing short, and with regards to celebrating Africa Day.
No, we are still going to work 40 days and 40 nights.
Ukhumbula is not alone in this belief, so we all take offense. So but nevertheless, my parting shot, particularly when it references Africa Day and having it celebrated, I actually would celebrate the fact that there seem to be a great shift, or a greater shift, that goes about to somewhat reset what was done. There were certain religions that were imposed on us. And because of that whole process, we then took up those religions and we believed it. But of late, I'm now realizing that there is a greater interest and a lot of questions that are being asked that are leading us back to something that sort of connects us or aligns us, or even brings us closer to a lifestyle that was lived before religion was imposed on us, pre-religion, if I may put it that way. So the fact that there is a greater realization upon myself that what makes a black person relate to the color of their skin, melanin, and the realization that the Bantu is not just me who's Bedi, or a Zulu or a Xhosa who is living within the southern part of Africa, but Bantu actually relates to all the African people that we have across the continent. Makes me realize that we are actually one. And the fact that I'm learning more about my history and that I've learned what I have thus far, and then knowing that, in time to come, I will learn a bit more. So I'm aligning more with my spirituality, which is, as other people could say, African. And also I am learning to respect all African in the process and to realize that indeed we are one.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I think the most important thing is just us respecting each other's beliefs. Who do we have next? Thank you so much, Lindsay.
I'm so sorry, host. Hey, I'm so sorry, everyone.
I'm next.
I was multitasking. Who's next? Sorry. Am I skipping someone?
I'm after you. Sorry.
Oh, okay. I'm so sorry. I had a patient. There's a lot. I overcooked my rice. I'm so sorry, guys.
No problem, sis.
What I'd like to say is, first to answer the people in the comments, I do not care for science. Ngumuntu okhonza uNkulunkulu, usomandla, usonini nanini, uThixo wami lo endimkhonzayo, which is my African God. I believe this is the God that looks like me. If we look into the Bible, this is the one that they describe in the Bible, and they say inwele zakhe ingathi eziwuhle. In simple terms, uye ngimkhonzayo loyo. And I absolutely believe in my ancestors. And there's something we also need to correct, Nati, as, for the lack of a better word, African leaders. With spirituality, Tina, or Makosi, or Gobela, we need to correct certain things. And also, Nati, because we are not united, it creates that gap. So we are not able to teach other people about our belief and make them fully understand our belief, because you go to indumba yase next door, and then it's like, but then they said this, why are you saying this? Because mina ngifuna ukuthatha my way of doing things and not the right way of doing things and impose it on people. So can we stop for a minute and try to go back to our roots and not into what we like people to believe? Masibashayela mathambo sithi rather uyenze kanje. Like omunye, and I want to go back to what Ukobela had said earlier on. Le yokuthi akuphahlwa emadlakeni. What is amadlaka? Grave sites. Akuphahlwa emadlakeni, grave sites, right? Kuphahlwa emsamo. And this is something that many people have not learned And many people thought ukuthi vele kuphahla kuphi emangcwabeni, and they have gone for years and years. Uyokhala kwi-tombstone ayi-erectile enkulu wayenze ukunzibalanga ye-tombstone ukhala kuyo every day and night. Ubhizi uyacela kumawakhe washona, mama ngiyacela. Loyo muntu loyo angeke aphenduleke because they're not doing things the right way. That is not how it is done. Also, mauzoya emsamo, it's not just any altar that you do. You don't just create emsamo. Sorry, you don't just wake up and say ngizoyenza umsamo and you go about it. There's so many rules and regulations, and when it comes to African spirituality, akunakuthi uzoyenza mistake and then say all is forgiven in the blood of Jesus. Angigxeki amaKristu by saying that, but I'm just saying when you come into the spirituality side of things, African spirituality things.
I automatic, Lend. It's not automatic. Yeah, Tina, you forgive 77 times 7 times, Tandasam, so I can really come and butcher you 77 times 7 times.
Do you understand? Exactly, host. Because in Christianity, I can be a mother of 7 from different guys, and then I can come back and come back your papa Tiswa, I'm a vegetarian. I'm a new creation in Mina, I guess. I'm divorced and I'm gonna get married again and I'm gonna be a new wife. 0 body count. Thank you. You understand? And now, when you come into African spirituality, yes, sis. Sizokusokolisa, sizokusemifuleni, sizokusa intabeni, uzohlabile.
Ngapha kuyakhanywa kulomfula ngapha siyangena.
Hi, Doc. Hi. Doc.
Before your prayers get answered. You need to be into this. I'm telling half, and then when they see things not happening their way, and let me tell you, Mdanetonga, Maulalela imithetho, uyilandelisisa, and be true to them. Bazothuyathagatha, bazothutwele. Because makuvulega Mdanetonga, yes. Uhle.
Hi ke siyabonga ke sithandwa sami we understand I know you are the last person to do your parting words. I'm just giving Lwandle a chance to do her parting words, and then when you will be last. Don't worry, my brother, I won't shut down without you.
So I'm so sorry to take up your time, guys, but what I'm saying is...
No, I'm gonna do part 2 of this, because we have a lot of unfinished business. You and Doc and Govela and Lingster and Quincy, you guys need a boxing ring. It's fine.
So just to speak to anyone who wants to choose a way of life, right? And they are saying they want to come into African spirituality. For 3 days and then things are going to be nice for you. You are going to struggle, you are going to suffer. There's a lot that goes into it. Don't let these ones that are hungry for your money fool you and trick you. Do your research and be patient. In African spirituality, I teach my people that your answer to whatever you are coming to consult me on is already in your dreams. Because nani. I don't do that. Mina bantu bagini will come and tell me ukuthi nangilokutana simfuna kanje nakanje nakanje. Do you understand? Because uhamba ngabantu. You are carried by abantu bagini. The sooner you realize that you are not wedwa, you are carried by abantu bagini, you will not be scammed by others. Number two, it's not everyone that dies that becomes idlozi that protects umuntu wasemndenini. So that drunk uncle that was useless, who didn't have cows, noma ngafike ephupheni athi ufuna inkomo, that is a demon. That is a demon, Thandazana.
Hey, why susi nkulumo Lwandle? Lwandle, you are taking us back. Siyakuthanda nawe, siyabonga. Thank you, my love.
Allow me to speak now. Allow me to speak. Now, so this means Tina, they always accuse us of calling abantu who come to our dreams demons. Now Ulwandle is calling people demons who come to you, your late person. Guys, come on.
No, don't twist her words. She does. Wamara, who is mangawa?
It was a parting shot.
No, that's okay. Okay, let's go. Let's dive into your parting shot with man, because we're not gonna finish. And we're like, I yes you.
My parting words, man. Guys, I love all of you. Whether Twasila or Twasana, Unkulunkulu wam teaches me to love. And if he is able to teach me to love even the person who's doing evil unto me, who are you if I don't have to love you? Nyaktanda, Twasilo or not, Angnandaba, whether we differ with our faith. I don't like to use the term religion a lot. If we differ with our faith, or what, in Saptanda. And I think that boils down to being an African, because Africans are full of love. To prove what I'm saying, we've been colonized and we've been abused by the West, but instead of taking revenge, we extended a hand of peace and a hand of love, which shows Uguti, this thing is embedded into us. You understand? This concept of love is embedded in our DNA. So I've really learned a lot, even though I disagreed with some things, and I still do disagree with some things. I still learned quite a lot. And ngiyabonga all of you guys for teaching me your ways. You know, whether I agree or not, that's not the question. Is that I learned what you guys are doing and what you guys believe in, you know, and I will not judge you because of that, because I after, you know, spending time with certain prophets and certain apostles who taught me certain spiritual concepts and all of that, I then gained a bit of understanding of African spirituality here and there, and I totally understand what some go through. So I appreciate you as well, host, because without you starting this live, we wouldn't have learned certain things. We wouldn't have agreed or disagreed with certain things. So Ulwandle, now is saying Nyatandava. I don't know if you can admit and say I love you too, but Nyatandava. And
Right at the end.
Let me speak. And now, doctor, that's why I wanted you to come in so many times, because I've listened to some of your speeches, some of your sermons and all of that. So yes, I love you a lot, sir. Now Lingstar, Nyatanda, everyone who has participated in Tana Kulu, and thank you very much for teaching me. Thank you very much for imparting your knowledge and also accepting my knowledge with regards to some things. So I think I have a lot to go look into. But obviously I'm going to ask God about it. I'm not going to accept or reject whatever. I'm going to ask God about it. Hey, Daddy, what do you think about this?
Where Nana? Direct connection to your God.
Man, you love us as well, but you don't give us an opportunity to unmute and say we love you too.
No. There's a reason why no one like it. But I love you guys.
Why specifically Ulwandle? Why? But anyway.
Angazi. Connection yani.
Hey, guys, it's fine. We'll do a separate live for all the other things that we still need to talk about. I promise that I'm gonna set up another live. I think sometime next week. We'll do a live on breaking down the whole, guys, on actual Africa Day. Let's do the live on the actual day, Africa Day. But this one is also going to be available on YouTube on Africa Day if you've missed any part of the live, because it's very, very long, but it's very informative. If you've missed any part of it, you are going to enjoy every bit of it. It will be available on Africa Day on YouTube. Same name, Madam Speaker. Guys, thank you so much. You know what? I'm so glad the live is recorded, because then I'm going to be able to take note, because there's so many things that I still need to go back and work on. And I feel like these are conversations that we should have more often, because we're not having them as often as we should be, just to open up our minds and broaden our thinking and everything. Because some of us guys, I don't even want to lie to you guys. I've been a Christian all my life, Only now that I'm on a public platform that I had to open up my mind and learn about other people's beliefs and spiritualities, because I have an encounter with a lot of people on a daily basis, so I can't even just shy away from certain things. But I really appreciate every single one of you and the inputs and the people who have been commenting on the comment section. Thank you so much. God bless you. Thank you. And that was the debate on African spiritualism. Thank you so much for joining in. Please don't forget to subscribe and like this video and comment down below on anything that you would like us to talk about, or anything that you learned from this video of today. Happy Africa Day to you. God bless you, and